Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I wanted to do another chopping block video, and this is something that I've kind of forgotten about. Not intentionally. I think it just comes down to so many other things have been kind of front of mind in the past couple of months that I haven't done one in a while. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you for being subscribed, and I'm going to start with a little bit of this. This is the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Luminizing Primer. I think I'd already gotten to the point where I realized everything I had in my primer collection I was good keeping, but then more primers have been added. And it's not that I meant to add them, they just came in a BoxyCharm. And at that point, this was a BoxyCharm primer, by the way, anyway, so I do like it. I think that it is hydrating, and I think that it does give a nice glow to the skin. Oh, and I painted my nails for the first time in like 6 months. I've got so much time on my hands, I actually have time to do my hands. I've had this forever, and I've never really used it. I was gonna say used it, like quotes. It's this, it's the Dermacol Film Studio Makeup Cover. It's a very thick, very, very heavy duty, almost like concealer. You have to be careful how much you put on because this might even be like too much for my face, but let's see how we do. Boy, I look like I've got some sort of bad skin condition. I know this can be very full coverage foundation, and I've never liked it in that way. I like it best when it is very, very thinned out. I feel like my skin has changed a lot in the past, well, I don't know, 3-4 years. Pores are larger, like my fine lines are really visible. I also feel like makeup sits in them differently and makeup kind of settles in the crinkles and wrinkles around my face, which is fine. This might have turned out better had I used a pore filling primer. You know, it's not bad. Before I get going too much farther, I'm going to put on a little bit of this. This is the Hollywood Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury. I have the shade 1 Fair. I'm just rolling the applicator on the back of my hand, and I'm going to take a little bit of this and hit the high points of my face. I have used this underneath as well as over makeup, and I find that I like the look of it best before I set my face, but on top of foundation, so I don't miss the really beautiful glow that it imparts. So whatever is left foundation-wise on this brush, mixing in the Hollywood Flawless filter, we're going to get a nice little mixture of glowy foundation. Between the primer and the foundation and that Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury, my face feels very, very hydrated. It feels like there's a lot of skincare on it. Okay, I'm going to set it. So to set today, I'm using this. This is from Sydney Grace. This is the Cloud 9 setting powder in the shade Fair. So this is one, I've only used it once because I didn't like the way it turned out. And I don't know that, maybe I used it twice. I don't know that that's a really fair attempt. So I have a little bit of powder here. It looks like powdered sugar. It's literally a white powder. And that always worries me a little bit, especially under the eyes. And this Cloud 9 powder was supposed to be a kind of luminous setting powder. I never saw any of the luminosity. I feel like it sets pretty well, but it makes my face look white, and I never saw any of the luminous glow that this product said that it would offer. And I do feel like it's taken away. Maybe you can still see some of the glow, or is it the white powder reflecting? I don't feel like my skin looks as dewy or as beautiful, but let's keep going. So for bronzer today, I am using this from number 7. This is the Golden Sands number 7 bronzer. Looks like this. I haven't used this in, oh, forever. I can't remember the last time I used this. Probably more than 6 months ago, maybe more than a year ago. It's been sitting in my drawer. I remember liking it, but will I still like it? I have actual hair attached to my head in my eyeball. That's better. I'm using the Balm's Balm Spring for blush today. I've always loved this blush. It's so pretty. It's kind of like a peachy nude color. I feel like most of my blushes are like a peachy nude color. But I always thought the Balm blushes lasted really well, blended nicely. I have all three of the Balm Desert, Balm Beach, and Balm Springs. I think they're pretty. Highlight today is a combo from Laura Geller. This is French Vanilla and Portafino, and they're really pretty because French Vanilla is very soft and luminous, and this is more shimmery. I feel like French Vanilla was one that everybody talked about nonstop, and always looks like it has more of a natural, really soft glow to it. And I feel like out of the two, it's the one that I enjoy the most. I haven't used it in a long time, but I always do pick a little bit up of Portafino and just kind of hit the high points. And they do look really pretty when you mix them together. I'm gonna do my brows next. This is a product from Winky Lux that came in a BoxyCharm, years ago. So it's a double-ended spoolie on one side and kind of more of a triangular tipped product on the other. I don't even know if they still make this, and I've had this for so long. I guess the only reason I'm using it is because it's not going on my actual eyes, it's just going on my brows. I think what really surprises me is that it still is, I feel like it's still doing a great job. Let's do the other one. For eyes today, I'm using the Sarahan 2 by Juvia's Place. This is a palette that I have not really used much at all. I have used the top two rows, but barely dipped into the bottom. I can tell that I have a little bit in this shade and this shade, but I haven't used this shade. So maybe that's where we start. With the shades I haven't used. I'm starting with this kind of warmer shade here. So I've had this eyeshadow palette for a couple of years, but I don't tend to reach for it. I feel like these colors are a little bit intimidating. I remember them being intimidating. But what's funny is, in the last 12 months, I've started to use bolder eyeshadow colors. And I still do wear a lot of very neutrally matte shades. This is definitely a warm neutral. But I feel like I'm more willing to step outside of my comfort zone than I used to be. And maybe in trying this palette again, I'll see that it's not as intimidating as I remember it being. I love the metallics in here. I feel like the metallics in here were miraculous. So I'm going to go into this shade here next. This is a really kind of darker chocolatey brown. So I'm pulling in a little bit of that matte burgundy that was on the bottom in the center. This guy right here. So I've used all of the mattes. That's pretty. I'm going to use some of that. I do love the metallics from Juvia's Place. They're just gorgeous. For a little bit of color, I'm going to go into this more. Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. It's a little cuckoo, but I'm not leaving the house. I'm going to use some of the lightest shimmer in here. It's a very champagne-y. Maybe I'll use it on my finger. It's kind of like a gold champagne. Oh, it looks more gold on the lid. I'll use that in the inner third. So I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I'm going to be using the Hourglass 1.5 millimeter mechanical gel eyeliner in the shade Ocean Floor. It's a deep dark blue. I've had this for a while and I keep forgetting that I have it. It's so tiny. Let me see if I can line my upper lash line with this. I normally don't because I don't prefer, mainly because liners are so thick. This one is so tiny. Actually really like the size of this. So I'm going to try mascara I haven't tried before, and it's from the Balm. This is their Mad Lash mascara. I bought it a while ago when they were having a 50% off sale, and I heard really good reviews about this, but I've never tried it. So it's got a curved wand that's kind of got these little plasticized rubbery bristles on it. I do like a slightly smaller wand because then I feel like I'm less likely to bump my lid and get mascara where I don't want it. I'm using a lip liner from Bite Beauty. This is the shade number 36, and it's just their lip pencil. I think I'm going to throw on this. This is the lip crayon from Colourpop in Cherry Pickin. It's a nice glossy, warm nude. I think a little more brown. I was hoping because it said Cherry Pickin to be a little bit more red, but that's definitely not the case. I feel like I would like this look better if my skin didn't look so white. I feel like that is because of the Sydney Grace Cloud 9 powder. I don't know that this powder is for me. Although it is good at setting my makeup and keeping it set, I don't feel like it's the right shade, and I don't really see a lot of luminosity from it. I feel like it really brings down the glow from the products I had on underneath. This is definitely, I think, something that I can put in my declutter or my let go pile. This Dermacol surprised me. I love the way it looked on my skin before I set it with powder, because I feel like the real white starkness that I'm getting right now is from the powder, not so much from this, because my skin looked very lovely and skin-like with just this on it. And I feel like it's something that I might actually want to be using more frequently. I've never really put it into heavy rotation. I think I've only used it like 2 or 3 times because it's so pigmented and I was always using too much. And this time I used the size of like a lentil, like literally that's all, the size of a lentil for my whole face. And then I buffed it in just using a foundation brush, and I really like the way it turned out. And the color is really good for me. I feel like the lightness is, again, from the powder. I've always loved this product. Well, that's not true. When I first got it, I wasn't really sure how to use it, but I definitely like it. And on days when I'm really not wearing any makeup, just a little bit of this on the high points of my face, some gloss, some brows, and maybe even a whisper of mascara, and it's like beautiful glowy skin. Really love that. So the bronzer I really liked. I think the bronzer is beautiful, but thinking about it, there are some other products that I have that I feel are similar to this. The only time I feel like I reach for this is when I'm looking to try something that I've either forgotten in the back of my drawer. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not like it's the one that's front of mind. It's like, oh, I want to use that bronzer. So maybe it's time to let this one go. I do love the Balm Springs, Balm Desert, Balm Beach blushes from the Balm. I think they're really pretty. I feel like this one is really nice. I think I'm gonna keep this. I really like the highlighter, and I like that I have 2 shades here in this pan, and if I want to go a little bit less luminous, I can use just French Vanilla, and if I want to add a little bit more glow, I can add in Portafino, and Portafino is kind of like really metallic, but this is really subtle. And I remember when everybody was talking about French Vanilla and Mary Luminizer, and there really weren't a ton of highlights out there. This was one of the first ones I really remember everybody going gaga for. And I didn't like it when I first got it years ago because it was a little too subtle for me. But now that I'm getting older and I need a little bit more carefully applied and not quite so shimmery highlights right here so to not accentuate my crow's feet, I feel like this is going to be beautiful for that. And it's great because it's shimmery but not too shimmery, and I use it right here in the arch. I don't like a really shimmery highlight in the arch of my brow, but I feel like this walks the line between giving just a little bit of like glow without being like boop, reflective like a piece of foil. So I think I'm going to keep this. I really like this. When we're talking eyeshadows, I don't know. I like the look. I feel like the shadow that I like the most in here, oddly enough, is this kind of light blue. This is the one that I use kind of like in the center of my lid, like right here. I feel like this is kind of like taking my life in my hands. Like, are you really putting shadow on just by looking in the viewfinder? Yes, yes I am. But I really think that this is a beautiful shade. And it's, I mean, it's so pretty. It is so pretty. But I don't know that I really will use the rest of this, and I have a lot of these other colors. I might be able to let this one go. Now, are the mattes gorgeous? Yes. But do I have other really gorgeous mattes? Yes. So that's one I'm definitely gonna say goodbye to. I think I'm also gonna let go of this brow product. It's not bad. I've had it for a long time, and I found that it was a little bit difficult to blend, and it could be that it's been around for too long. I liked it when it first came out, but I do prefer a more precise, really fine-tipped pencil for my brows if I'm using a pencil. So I think I'm gonna let the Winky Luxe go. This gel liner from Hourglass, I forgot how great it is because it's so itty bitty, teeny tiny. I mean, like the thinnest little line. It's miraculous. It's a very tiny pencil. I like this pencil. I even like this blue color called Ocean Floor. So very happy with that, keeping that. And I feel like this Mad Lash is one where I'm going to have to continue to try, because it says it's supposed to go to crazy lengths. So apparently it's supposed to be lengthening. And then it also talks on the box about volume beyond reality. I don't know that I got volume beyond reality, and I don't know that I got to crazy lengths, but you know, let's keep using it. I feel like sometimes mascaras take a couple of weeks to kind of come and show you their true colors, so I will continue to use this. I did find that it was easy to put this where I wanted it. I noticed something interesting. It's got like sections on it where you have some gaps, and then you have like a ridge right here of just bristles, and then a gap, and then another ridge of bristles. So you can, depending on where you're using it, I feel like it's pretty good at combing through your lashes without putting too much on. And I do think that's a kind of a nice feature of this. So there we go. Oh, by the way, I did really like the pencil. I know that I'm keeping this from Bite Beauty, and I did really like the Just a Tint from Colourpop. Let's see, how many am I getting rid of? So I'm getting rid of 4 products here, and I'm keeping 7. I feel like that's pretty good. I feel like most of what I've been purchasing recently has really been working out well for me. I'm not buying willy-nilly. I'm doing more research, and I feel like I'm going to end up doing less decluttering and really using more to its full ability what I have in my collection. I don't think that I'm going to miss any of these things. These were already things that I really wasn't using, and I don't want to keep things that I'm not going to use if somebody else can use it or if they're expired. And I think it's important to go through and kind of give your collection that once over, especially if it's larger than the average collection, because things get lost. And that's not a good thing. I would love to know how you go through and decide what goes, what stays, or even what enters your makeup collection. Some people only have like 1 or 2 lipsticks and 1 eyeshadow palette, 1 mascara. When the mascara gets, you know, empty, they get another one. They only replace the items as they finish up. I would love to know if you're that sort of person, or if you have a lot, and how you rotate through it, making sure you show everything a little bit of love, or when is that point where you say, I've had you too long, you've got to go. Thank you so much for watching today. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.